Greetings, Cowcat fans. This is the dude from a couple of seasons ago. The guy who was parrying the raps and stuff. And I am here to, not doing rap or anything, I'm here to explain to some of the internet cats about what it's at when it comes to the difference between the sexes and whatnot. Yeah, the sexes. Yeah, I said sex. Yeah. So, I'm going to explain it to you a little bit. Because some people are a little bit confused. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, I'm going to sit back over here. And I'm going to explain it to you. Alright? It was come to my attention that not just on the set of the Cowcat show, not just on the set of Valley Stories, Atmosphere, but everywhere on the net, everybody's talking about the 50 Shades of Grey books. I'm not really going to discuss them, except to say that they're essentially erotic fiction. Yeah, and well, can't say I'm all that into that kind of stuff. Not really. Not into rapper guys. So rapper guys go and look for Rule 34. They go check that stuff out. Then they hear about all the stuff like you know, rap stars and stuff. You know, Rule 34 of Eminem and Dr. Dre or something. You know, he wouldn't do that stuff, but he's seen it on occasion. But anyways, so there've been some internet guys that are on our subscriptions that are wondering about this kind of thing, and some internet girls responding to that on other websites. So you got like Mr. Rapunzel on one hand. He's talking about, well, why is there this the double standard? You see, there's a double standard. The double standard is that girls can run around reading 50 Shades of Grey, even Christian girls, and I've seen this too, and that's okay. They can do it in public even. But it is not okay for guys to look at porno. Like, they can't have a porn magazine, they can't have the Playboy, they can't be looking at, like, you know, like a booby magazine or whatnot. They can't be looking at their computer, iPod thing, looking there at the Rule 34 pictures, because that creeps girls out. Now, the Asian economy also goes into the film industry as well. Because the film and credit industry, and since Cowcat Show often goes into film because the co-creator of the Cowcat Show, Mark's Cards, is a film major. So that's why we always talk about film and critics and stuff like that. So that's why. So yeah, but not porn. Nah, he would never do that. But yeah, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. Now, in movies, it is perfectly alright to show violence, gory violence, and sexual violence, even on cable television, which is a double standard as well. It's a larger, greater problem with American television and entertainment. However, it's perfectly alright to show sexuality. You got the Jersey Shore, you got the wife swap, you got the, you know, that kind of thing. You got all kinds of movies like Sex and the City, it was on cable, that kind of thing. And sex sells as an entertainment type of thing nowadays. Now back in the day when I was younger and MTV was brand new and all that shit, you know, that was real shocking. And they had something called, like, NC-17 was like X. And there was no PG-13 yet. It hadn't come out yet. And then basically, the kind of dirty comedies that we could go out and see in the movie theater, we sneak into when we were kids, well, they were, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High and whatever. If they were released today, they would be X. They would be borderline RX. They would make, you know, like the stuff like they show now, like the American Pie, the reunion. That thing is PG-13 back in the day. That's not even close to the stuff they were able to show years ago. Weird dichotomy has developed. Where nowadays, the film industry is like censoring out, like the bush, and they're showing the beaver, or showing breasts, tits, you know, the womanly parts, you know, and such. But back in the 80s, It was perfectly all right. That was not NC-17. That would be like in an R-rated movie. Boobies, boobies, you know, and they, like, they would just show that, like they would just do it, and then they made up these new standards, and then they got even more and gradually more and more and more in the movies anyway, because cable TV was new, and they got even more into that. So they got even more into censoring that, actually. It got even more censored to the point that they created PG-13, moved R up to, and created NC-17 for all the movies that were a little too risque. So to get movies where now they're like we can't even show a tit, can't even show a boob, and it's like, are we gonna get an R rating? Or we can't even say the F word more than 4 times. Or we're gonna get an X rating, or higher, or whatever. It's ridiculous. But if it's a slasher movie where the chick is getting their head cut off as the bad guy's showing her boobs, that's okay. That's just weird, man. That's just weird. So it's a double standard in the movies. And to a lesser extent, it's a double standard among the populace as well. The cable television is desensitized. As you can turn on the television, on the cable, during the day, anywhere, and you will find several shows with some woman getting accosted, or raped, or something bad is happening to somebody. It's a CSI episode or something, or a movie or something. The censors are okay with that, and that's what's weird, man. It's like, okay, that's fine with the censors, but if they're having fun, having sex, like they're just enjoying making love on a beach or something, or in a trailer, or out in a pimping pad or something, they're like, oh my God, we can't show that. That's X-rated. Oh my God, and the censors freak out. And then you got the weird dichotomy of what you can show, what's appropriate or inappropriate in public. Now, not so much body dance, but Mr. Rapunz, he was wondering why, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. He's one of the YouTube guys. But they were bringing up the idea of this, of the 50 Shades of Grey book. Right? One of them's a girl, Body Dancing Girl. And she's talking about atheism and all that other stuff, and the dichotomy over there. And why, think about what you're going to say before you say it, that type of deal. Rapunz doesn't think what he's going to say before, he just says it. And he's a guy, he's completely the opposite. I like to have on the subscribers, people that are completely on other ends of the spectrum, just to see everybody's popular view. And also the Young Turks were talking about the whole thing too, the censorship issues and stuff like that. So it's all connected on our web channels, our subscribers. And we don't get any funds from them, so we can say whatever we want. And we don't have any super PACs. We aren't in the political scene, so we can say anything we want, and nobody's going to close it down. Now, and Dove-tastic, he never talks about that at all. But he likes the microwave stuff, so that's okay. But okay, so he's not in the scene, but the Young Turks and the 2 other people are in. And the guy was asking, Rapunz was asking a question, why can girls, even Christian girls, and I've seen it, biased girls, talk about the 50 Shades of Grey book, and guys cannot talk about sex in public. Well, there's the dichotomy. See, Mark's Cards and I were discussing this. Actually, Mark's Cards and Cal Cat were discussing this. I'm playing a different character. I'm playing the rapper guy. I'm telling you that, that's the double standard. And Mark's Cards was saying that's a double standard because, like, a girl will feel threatened if a guy whips out a booby mag, Playboy or something, or whips out some porn on his iPod and is looking at porn. She will be threatened by that because they'll see that and they'll be like, oh, why are you doing that? That's gross, and get all offended and stuff. Because it's overt. It's right out there. Guys are very overt about that kind of stuff. It's like, we just want to see the boobies. And then some of the more feminist chicks are saying, no, that's the worst way you can, just don't do that. Don't show the boobies. But the 50 Shades of Grey thing is written. It's a storybook. It's not yet a movie. They are making a movie. They are getting the studio together to make a movie out of that. Not us. There's a studio that's interested in making a movie out of that. And it'll be interesting to see the dichotomy in reverse when the movie comes out. How many guys went to Sex and the City, the movie? I bet there were a lot, actually. I did not. I did not dig that one. I'm a old school when it comes to my rated R movies. I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That had more skin in it than American Pie did. All 3 of the American Pies, actually. And it was not censored. Um, but no, yeah, the uncut ones had more. But yeah, but you know, that kind of thing. So let's see. So yeah, it's double standard. The double standard is that men are more overt, and that they want to show, they want to see the boobies now. They're like, let's show the boobies. Let's see the boobies. Ooh, boobies. And they show the boobies, and it's like offensive because they've just, you know, show the delivery, you know, that kind of thing. But it's not the same thing, man. Because if it's written down, it's not the same thing. You cannot see it when it's on the page. It's just written down on the page. It's not like they made a video out of it or a picture. It's written down. Yeah, you can imagine that it's grosser than it is. But you think that erotic fiction book, the 50 Shades of Grey and the other two sequels, you think that they are actually that gross? If they had pictures, I suppose, and graphics and stuff, then that would be gross and that would be offensive. But it's basically trashy romance. Sister calls it, you know, some of us call it torture porn. It is porn. But it's written down, so it's not as graphic. Because they can put it away, or they can secretly have it out and be reading it, and you can't tell what they're reading about. But yeah, it is a double standard. It is, because like it is a gross book and it is porn. So they should just admit, yeah, it's porn. That's what it is. You know, the girls are reading smut books for girls. I don't think Mr. Rapunzel would like the 50 Shades of Grey. I don't think I would like the 50 Shades of Grey. Said I'm not into that kind of stuff. Ironically, Wonder Woman, which was about a comic book that was about, you know, Wonder Woman, you know, with the lasso and the handcuffs and all. It was actually about S&M originally, which is kind of funny. So it's kind of the same. So you have this comic book that's like about S&M. So yeah, there you go. Double standard. If they made a movie about this book, then it would then become porn. They would probably have an NC-17 rating on the movie. Or what's likely to happen, actually, is they're going to go by way of the Sex and the City or Eyes Wide Shut or something, and they're going to tone it down to the point that it's like PG-13 or soft R. And then it's not going to be nearly as good for the fans that want it, because they want to get the goods. So it's just the way it is. So if girls get offended, they get offended and they become a little fearful if a dude is like looking at a dirty graphic novel. Looking at some, you know, smutty, sleazy thing. Like when we went to the comic book convention and this guy had these hentai things. It was a hentai guy doing a hentai stuff, you know. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh my gosh, wow. and he was a guy that pioneered the hentai tentacle exploitation videos. And man, that's nasty. Anybody had that on a bus or something? That'd be just bad. So yeah, but that probably would not be that probably would get past the censors in movies, and the censors wouldn't mind it if it was something happening bad and violent. But sexual, no. If somebody's enjoying it, oh, they're going to be all over that. You know, I don't like that. It's weird. It is a dichotomy. It's messed up, double standard. It's like they have these really conservative old fogies going, oh, we don't like this, or we don't like that, or we want it this way or that way. And yeah, the girls should admit it. They should say, okay, stuff like 50 Shades of Grey is porn. It is a porn book. But it's not a graphic novel. It's not a big comic book. They're not going around going, hey, look, this is what's going on here. You know, chain up the guy or whatever, or the girl or whatever. Chain up. I imagine there's some chains in it. But yeah, so yeah, I took a peek at some of those. There's bondage in it, basically. It wasn't too interesting. So yeah, but see, if somebody did an illustration of that, then it would therefore be, oh my gosh, offensive. Yeah, so somebody did an illustration, like the guy with the hentai. If he did an illustration, 50 Shades of Grey, showing the pictures of the, you know, people getting tortured, then it would be like, oh no, you can't do that. But it's a double standard. That's just the way it is. So, don't think of them necessarily as hypocrites for thinking that stuff, because some of them are, but for the most part, I think guys and girls want to be titillated to in some way by this stuff. They want to be more private about it. The girls don't want to go out and explore that. They don't want that to be out everywhere. They're more secretive about that stuff. They don't want. That's why they read trashy romance novels, because you can have it on you and nobody knows. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to stuff a girly mag in your back pocket. I don't actually own any girly mags. Anyway, and you know what Rule 34 is, don't you? Everybody on the net knows what Rule 34 is. Rule 34 is of the internet, which was said by, oddly enough, the Mythbusters guys. They quoted it. They said, if it exists, there's porn of it. And just about everything has porn of it. So on the internet, and the whole business has changed from what I'm told as well. Like, you used to go to the video store and go to the dirty movie section in the back, or the bookstore, the dirty book section in the back, or whatever. And now they don't have the videos because it's all online. One of the #1 reasons husbands who have wives get internet with fast broadband speed is so they can look at dirty stuff on the internet late at night. So I bet that's what it is. So yeah. So that's all rant from the rapper for the evening. I'm going to go on to one other. Okay. But there you got it. The double standard of the movies. Because I didn't just want to make it about trashy romance novels, so I made it about the double standard of movies as well. So I threw in American Pie in there. Because they just came out with one. Yeah, so there you go. There you go. Yeah, and ultra-violent movies, that's okay. I don't know why that is. They should be equally censored. I mean, if they're going to be censored. You know, it's like, and you know what was annoying is when they came out with Mortal Kombat the movie, they made it like PG-13. And there's a case where I would have said, no, don't censor that at all. Because that video game was freaking violent. Things were blowing up. Heads were getting ripped off by the spine and whatever. They should have shown all of that in the movie. The movie should have been NC-17. Because it should have. It should have been sick. Because Mortal Kombat. You know, if it isn't Mortal Kombat. So there's a dichotomy. But yeah, so Mortal Kombat. But yeah, I would not want to see that in an erotic movie, though. I wouldn't want to see chicks blowing each other up necessarily, because that'd be messed up. No, if they're gonna do erotic romantic movies, then and they could do more of those. They could do more of those. That'd be cool. They could get back to that, but they probably won't. Oh. So there you go. There you go. Okay, we're done.